Ladies and gentlemen, leadership is not about a title on your desk or a position on an organizational chart. Leadership is about influence, about example, and about becoming the kind of person others want to follow. You see, people don't follow titles, they follow courage, character, and vision. Years ago, I learned a simple principle: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because when you grow, everything around you grows. That's where real leadership begins with you. Leadership is not something you're handed with a title or a position. True leadership begins long before anyone calls you a leader. It starts within you with your habits, your mindset, and your commitment to constant self-improvement. If you want to lead others, you must first lead yourself. That means developing the discipline to do what needs to be done, even when no one is watching, even when it's inconvenient, and especially when it's hard. Jim often said, "Work harder on yourself than you do on your job." This principle is simple, yet life-changing. It's easy to get caught up in chasing promotions, managing tasks, and trying to influence others. But real influence comes from becoming the kind of person others admire and want to follow. You can't skip the personal work. You can't expect to inspire others if you haven't mastered the art of inspiring yourself. Self-discipline is the foundation of this journey. It's the ability to keep promises to yourself, to stay consistent in your efforts, and to build habits that support your long-term goals. Discipline means showing up early, preparing thoroughly, and giving your best effort, not because someone is telling you to, but because that's who you are. Every small act of discipline builds your character and sharpens your leadership edge. When you consistently work on yourself, something remarkable happens. People begin to notice. They see your focus, your reliability, your calmness under pressure. Without saying a word, you begin to influence those around you. That's the kind of leadership that lasts. It's not flashy, but it's powerful. People trust leaders who are steady, who keep growing, and who lead themselves well. Personal growth also means being willing to confront your weaknesses. Leaders are not perfect, but they are honest about their flaws and committed to improving. Whether it's emotional control, time management, or communication skills, a true leader is always learning. They read more, listen more, and seek out mentors who challenge them to rise higher. Growth is a lifelong process, and leaders embrace it with humility and enthusiasm. In essence, leadership is not about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself. Your attitude, your habits, and your willingness to grow are what determine the level of influence you will have. When you focus on being better each day, you naturally become the person others look up to. So, before you seek to lead a team, a business, or a community, look in the mirror. Ask yourself, am I leading myself well? That honest reflection is where true leadership begins. From there, every disciplined choice, every moment of personal growth, adds to your credibility and impact. In time, you won't need to ask people to follow you, they'll choose to. Because of the leader you've become, real leadership has very little to do with the title you carry. Titles are given, but influence is earned. Influence comes from the way you live, the way you treat people, and the example you set every single day. People don't follow a job title. They follow character, consistency, and authenticity. You see, leadership is not something you announce. It's something you prove moment by moment through your actions. Jim often reminded us that leadership is about becoming the kind of person others want to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. When people see you walking the talk, when they witness your work ethic, your integrity, and your respect for others, that's when they begin to follow your lead, not because of your position, but because of who you are. It's easy to issue commands, give orders, or expect compliance because of your role, but true influence doesn't work that way. Influence grows from trust, and trust is built by example. When you show up early, give your best effort, and stay humble, you send a powerful message: this is the standard. People watch what you do more closely than what you say. They notice how you handle stress, how you celebrate success, and how you treat the people who can do nothing for you. Think of the leaders you admire most. Chances are they didn't inspire you with fancy speeches or impressive titles. They inspired you by how they carried themselves, how they stayed true to their values, and how they consistently did the right thing even when it was difficult. That's the power of leading by example. Influence through example also means taking responsibility. When things go wrong, real leaders don't point fingers. They own their mistakes, learn from them, and move forward. That humility and accountability earn respect far more than any title ever could. People respect leaders who are willing to admit when they're wrong and who are always striving to be better. Another critical aspect is consistency. Anyone can have a good day and impress people once in a while, but leaders are those who show up with the same commitment, the same positivity, and the same effort, day in and day out. Consistency builds credibility, and credibility builds influence. Remember, leadership is not about being above people. It's about walking beside them. It's about showing others what's possible through your own actions. When you set the pace, others will follow. But they follow because they trust you, because they believe in you, and because they've seen you lead yourself first. So, don't focus on chasing titles. Focus on becoming the example worth following. Your influence will come, not from the authority given to you by a job description, but from the respect you earn by living your values out loud. As Jim would say, the challenge of leadership is to be strong, but not rude, be kind, but not weak, be bold, but not a bully. Lead by example, and the influence will follow. One of the most underrated and powerful skills a leader can develop is the ability to truly listen. Not just hearing words, but listening with attention, with presence, and with genuine interest. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. That's where real leaders separate themselves. They listen to understand, to connect, to learn. Listening is not passive, it's an active sign of respect. And when you give people that level of attention, you earn their trust, their loyalty, and their hearts. Jim often said, one of the greatest gifts you can give to anyone is the gift of your attention. Think about that. In a world where people are constantly distracted by phones, emails, and endless noise, giving someone your full, undivided attention is a rare and precious thing. It tells them you matter, your words are valuable, your thoughts are worth hearing. And that, my friends, is the foundation of influence. Leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. Often, it's about being the one who listens the most carefully. When you listen well, you gain insights that others miss. You understand the concerns of your team, the needs of your customers, the emotions behind the words. You build stronger relationships because people feel safe opening up to someone who truly listens. Listening also teaches humility. It reminds us that we don't have all the answers and that wisdom can come from anyone at any level. A great leader doesn't assume they know everything. They remain curious, open-minded, always ready to learn. When you listen to your team, you empower them. You make them feel valued, which in turn inspires them to give their best effort. But listening isn't just about staying silent while someone else speaks. It's about being present, maintaining eye contact, nodding in understanding, asking thoughtful questions, reflecting back what you heard to ensure clarity. These small actions make a huge difference. They show that you are not just hearing noise, but that you are engaged in the conversation. Furthermore, listening diffuses conflict. When people are upset, they often just want to be heard. A leader who listens patiently can calm emotions, find common ground, and resolve issues before they escalate. It's not always about having the perfect solution. Sometimes, simply being heard is enough to start the healing process. Leaders who master the art of listening create a culture of openness. Their teams feel safe to share ideas, voice concerns, and contribute fully. Innovation flows more freely when people know their voices will be heard. And with better communication comes better results. In the end, leadership is about influence, and influence is built on connection. The deeper you connect with people, the stronger your leadership becomes. And connection starts with listening, not pretending to listen, not multitasking while someone talks, but truly, fully listening. Remember, people may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. When you listen, you make people feel respected, valued, and understood. That is a leader's superpower. Leadership has never been about sitting at the top and looking down. True leadership is about lifting others up. It's not about being served, it's about serving. The moment you think leadership is about power or prestige, you've missed the point. Real leaders understand that their primary role is to add value to others to help them grow, succeed, and reach their potential. That's what leadership is all about. Jim often spoke about the importance of bringing value to the marketplace, to relationships, and to people's lives. Leadership is no different. The more value you bring, the more influence you earn. And that value comes through service. It's about asking, how can I help? How can I support? How can I make things better for others? That mindset transforms an ordinary manager into an extraordinary leader. Serving others as a leader doesn't mean you're weak or that you're giving up authority. Quite the opposite. Service builds trust. Trust builds influence, and influence is the very foundation of leadership. People will follow someone who puts their needs, growth, and well-being above personal ego. When people know you genuinely care, they'll go the extra mile not because they're told to, but because they want to. A leader's service might be offering guidance, mentoring, removing obstacles, or simply being available to listen. Sometimes it's stepping in to help with the smallest tasks, showing that no job is beneath you. Those small acts of service speak louder than any speech or title ever could. People remember leaders who serve with humility and heart. Service also means creating opportunities for others to shine. It's about recognizing and celebrating the strengths of your team. A good leader doesn't seek the spotlight. Instead, they direct the spotlight onto others, giving credit where it's due and lifting people up. In doing so, they build a culture of trust, loyalty, and mutual respect. Leadership through service requires empathy. It requires seeing things from others' perspectives, understanding their challenges, and acting with kindness and compassion. When you serve, you're not just managing tasks, you're nurturing people. That human connection is what inspires long-term commitment and genuine teamwork. But make no mistake, serving others also demands strength. It takes strength to put aside personal ambition for the good of the group. It takes strength to stay patient, to support others through their mistakes, and to lead with integrity when no one is watching. Service is not a soft skill, it's a sign of true leadership strength. As Jim wisely said, give without remembering and receive without forgetting. That's the spirit of servant leadership. When you focus on giving, on serving, the rewards come naturally in the form of respect, loyalty, and lasting influence. In the end, leadership is not a throne to sit on. It's a platform to serve from. The greatest leaders are remembered not for their titles, but for the lives they touched, the people they helped, and the legacy of service they left behind. Leadership without vision is like sailing a ship without a compass. You might be moving, but you're not going anywhere meaningful. Vision is what gives direction to effort. It's the picture of the future that pulls people forward, even when the present is challenging. A true leader sees not only what is, but what could be, and by sharing that vision clearly and passionately, they unite people around a common purpose. Jim often said, if the why is strong enough, the how becomes easy. Vision gives people the why. It answers the deeper question, why does this work matter? Why should we give our best? Why should we keep going when it gets tough? A strong vision provides that emotional fuel. It turns daily tasks into meaningful contributions toward a bigger goal. But vision isn't just about grand speeches or lofty ideas. It's about clarity. People need to see the destination, They need to understand where they're going and why it matters. A leader's job is to paint that picture so vividly that others can see it too. When people can visualize success, they begin to believe in it, and when they believe, they align their actions toward achieving it. Leaders who communicate a clear vision bring unity to their teams. Without vision, people tend to pull in different directions, focusing on their own tasks without understanding how they fit into the larger picture. Vision connects the dots. It helps each person see how their role contributes to the overall success. That sense of belonging and purpose creates alignment, focus, and collaboration. Vision also provides stability in uncertain times. When challenges arise, it's easy for people to get discouraged or distracted. But a leader with vision keeps everyone anchored. They remind the team of the long-term goal, keeping spirits high and motivation strong. As Jim would say, it's the set of the sail that determines the direction, not the blowing of the wind. The vision is what sets that sail, guiding the team through rough waters. Great leaders revisit the vision often. They keep it alive in conversations, meetings, and daily actions. Vision is not a one-time announcement. It's a constant reminder of where we're headed. Leaders who consistently communicate the vision inspire commitment, creativity, and resilience in their teams, but vision alone isn't enough. Leaders must also embody that vision through their behavior. If a leader talks about excellence, they must model excellence. If the vision is about innovation, the leader must be open to new ideas. Living the vision builds credibility and reinforces unity. Ultimately, vision transforms a group of individuals into a team moving with purpose. It aligns hearts and minds, turning effort into momentum. People are willing to give more, to go further, when they see the bigger picture and believe they're part of something meaningful. As Jim would remind us, leadership is about showing the way. With a clear vision, you don't push people forward, you pull them forward. That is the power of vision. It guides, it unites, and it inspires. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this message, let me remind you of a simple truth. Leadership is not about position. It's about becoming the kind of person others choose to follow. It starts with you. It starts with your self-discipline, your commitment to personal growth, and your daily decisions. Leadership is built in those quiet moments when no one is watching, when you choose to do the right thing, to work a little harder, to keep your promises, even when it's inconvenient. Remember, people don't follow titles. They follow examples. The greatest influence you'll ever have will come not from your words, but from your actions. Be the living example of what you expect from others, and never forget the power of listening. Real leaders listen more than they speak, because when you listen, you build trust. You make people feel valued. You create connection, and that is the true foundation of leadership. Leadership is not about status, it's about service. The more you serve, the more you lead. When you focus on lifting others up, supporting their growth, and helping them succeed, your influence grows naturally. Finally, every great leader holds a vision. A vision that inspires, that unites, that gives people a reason to give their best. Your job is to see the bigger picture and help others see it too. With a clear vision, you guide not with force, but with purpose. So, as you step out of this room, ask yourself, am I becoming the leader others look up to? Not because of my title, not because of my authority, but because of my example, my service, and my vision. As Jim would say, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for more followers, wish to become a leader worth following. Be that leader. The one who inspires, the one who serves, the one who leads by example, the one everyone looks up to not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. Thank you.